So this is our second Pieces to Piece interview, and I'm here with the lovely...
Oh, thank you.
The fabulous...
Oh, no, fabulous.
Yeah, you are. Walter!
Yes, Walter.
So, Walter had a fascinating thread on Facebook, which was you'd watched a programme about...
They were convicts on television,
Yeah.
and it sort of panned out that whilst I was watching, I was scanning them from a distance, obviously, energetically,
Yeah.
and I actually spotted certain traits that were worthy of actually sharing with others.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was that there was within these individuals, it was a program about psychopaths who had done some rather hideous and,
psychopaths can do.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I actually noticed was there was this absolute disconnect between the heart and the head.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, most people would actually talk about the chakras being specific points on the body, and there's you've got a chakra on the throat, you've got one in the third eye, and you've also got one in the crown. But for me, when I was actually looking at them, it just seemed like a lot of the energy was localized around the head area, beyond. And I think there was some scope where it was actually sort of integrating the throat chakra, but it was predominantly third eye and crown that was actually quite cerebral in activity. And what was strange was that there was very little connection to the heart chakra, which I found interesting and disconcerting. Yes. So that was my little take on psychopaths on Facebook. Yeah.
So what is it that you do? How do you work with people?
I think initially I started off doing astrology, but at a very young age I recall picking up a book. I was waiting for my dad, and I was in the car waiting for my dad, and this book was on New Age stuff, and it was about chakras. And I remember it was rather basic chakra information. It was, just the 7 chakras, and that was it. And it talked about the different chakras, but no real emphasis on how you actually healed them or how you cleared them or anything like that. And what was really strange was I recall actually saying, one day this will make sense to me. This will all make sense to me. And I think when I went to university, I picked up my first book in astrology, and I sort of ran with astrology for a while. It was my main thing. But I think anyone who does a lot of astrology will tell you that initially it's quite a head-based subject.
Oh, really?
Yes. But I think as you develop the intuition to see it as an art, the information starts to drift so that it becomes more of a heart and head-based.
That's a really interesting parallel with what you've just talked about, isn't it?
Absolutely. So there's that shift where the initial part is where everything is information. Everything is just the contacts between the different planets or the aspects and stuff.
Yeah.
But as the skill develops, it shifts, and sometimes the information that comes up, or the different layers of information that you actually get within the aspects, and I believe it comes from the heart. It actually arises from the heart and then delivers the information. So although you may see one specific aspect in the chart, it will deliver the appropriate information because there's different nuances in the aspect, and the appropriate nuance will then deliver itself for the person that you're reading. So anyway, that's where it started.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, I think, or maybe just a bit more than a couple, there's been a developing sensitivity with me where in the past I wouldn't have actually said I'd connect with stones or gems or energies and stuff. But I think when I started my journey on Reiki specifically, it sort of became a springboard to really developing a sensitivity to what's actually out there. The subtle energies, not just in the environment, but also the person that's actually sitting next to me. So that when I tap into it, you actually get what I would actually say, it's like different quality of pressure cushions. So someone with a very activated crown may feel like they've got a really spongy yet firm cushion on your head. Whereas someone who's got, say, a depleted heart or, may actually feel like there's not a lot of meat or not a lot of essence or pressure in that area. And so it feels quite empty. And so you get this different sense of pressure, different sense of form, and sometimes there's even things where I would actually say that it's just not just the pressure, it's also the subtle pieces of information, like it can be spiky, it can be soft, it can be furry, different information comes in, and you can never really walk in and say, I'm looking for something specific. You have to allow what needs to be expressed to express itself to you.
What's in front of you at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what you were doing when you were watching the program.
I think when I was just doing an experiment. I was just watching the program, and I thought, I wonder what's their energetic body all about. I wonder where's the energy focused in terms of their chakras.
Yeah.
And boom, I saw this. I just literally saw this highly active head chakra, or head energy, and then there was this. They were very articulate, so that you have to actually almost think that the energy was almost like a mask or a kind of a helmet, just sort of like a diver's helmet. But then there was just this dislocation, this absolute dislocation, where the heart was not even. I'm not sure. I think it would have to be a case-by-case situation, but the sense was that the heart was not connected to the whole system. It was completely cut off or bypassed. So, yes.
Because what's really fascinating about that is that, like, one of the traits of kind of like psychopath, sociopath, narcissist is that there is no empathy.
Yeah.
So I just found it fascinating.
What's your definition of a narcissist? Because I've been pondering this, because I think there's different categories where, and I'm not saying that this is definitive, others may actually think otherwise, but when I see people who are completely unable to sense what's going on in the other person, it feels like there's a disconnection. So there's a bypass to the heart process, whereas the survival instinct, the sense of power, and actually, the enjoyment aspect, which is sacral, solar plexus, and the base chakra, all that's connected. There's a strong survival concept.
Yeah.
But the heart is not within it, so it almost feels quite empty in their activity. Although someone might actually say a person who's a psychopath may not be empty in their processes, because the impact of their actions, there is impact. They do affect other people.
Yeah. I think, like, as far as I'm aware, psychopaths actually have different wiring in the brain. Like, the empathy system in the brain just is wired differently. Like, they're just not the same. There's interesting, I think I shared in that thread about the lecturer.
Yes.
The guy who works at the university, and he was looking at all of these brain scans of psychopaths, and then realised one of the brain scans was his own.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then went home. So they're not all kind of like murderers and killers.
Absolutely not. No.
Like, I mean, his way of saying it was just don't give a shit. His family weren't surprised that he came out as a psychopath, but he was in a family, and he just doesn't care what you think, which some of the times would be quite a nice place to be in. Because a lot of us can worry so much about what other people think of us.
Yeah.
And but with narcissism, I like to look at it as kind of like I like Dr. Craig Malkin's explanation where we've got a scale.
Yeah.
And we're all on the scale somewhere.
Yeah.
And we can move up and down the scale depending on like who we're with, what situation we're in.
Yeah.
So at 10 is like full on narcissistic, personality disorder, psychopath. And the thing that's going on in this kind of model in particular is it's about specialness.
Yeah.
And at 10 it's like, I'm more special than you. At 5, well, you know, right in the middle, it's like, I'm special,
But
you're
so
special.
are you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've got strengths, I've got weaknesses. Anything that I can't do, somebody else can do. It's okay, they can do that. You know, that place of equality,
Yeah.
basically. And then at 0 is, you know, everybody else is more special than me. And kind of, you know, so you're, you know, really putting yourself down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so in that sense, kind of like the narcissist is, you know, someone who has to be more special. But I think you're quite right. There is that bypass.
Yeah.
Because often that's come from some kind of trauma in before the age of 3, I believe. So in order for, you know, it's like a coping mechanism. It is a survival mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to shut down the heart because it's way too painful.
For what I've got to actually feel and deal with, so
it's
everything
way
else.
too painful to go there. So let's shut the heart down. Yeah, keep all of the other ones in place. So I think it in terms of kind of, you know, healing or therapy or whatever, it is a very difficult one, and you know.
I think it's challenging. I think it's definitely challenging. One of the other things that I pondered on with regards to narcissism is where I've actually talked with you about before, where it's a sense of an emptiness.
Yeah.
That it's connected, and this is where I think the difference between narcissism and psychopathy, in a sense, where there's a bypass in one, whereas in the other, it is connected, but it's like a void. It literally feels like it's an empty space.
Okay, so which one's which?
I would say narcissism is where I need to actually continue feeding off someone or something.
Yeah.
So it's, so that, whereas the other, the psychopathic mentality is that I don't need to feed off someone. There is that power, that, you know, the head, the insight, and I can speak forth. I just don't feel, I don't care. The impact of my decisions. I am powerful. You know, the sacral chakra says I will do what feels good to me, feels good for me. And the survival root chakra says I'm here to survive, and I don't really have to care about what I feel. Whereas with the narcissistic, and I think they can be actually different because there's 7 chakras that we're dealing with. They can actually be different narcissistic traits. So someone who's got like a void in the heart will say, I just need love. So somehow I go out seeking love from the person who can give me love in that moment. And when I've taken what I have, or they can't give any more, I'll go find someone else who can give me love.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because that's one of the things. It's like quite a common thing for narcissists to do. Is what's called love bombing.
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that. What does that mean?
Basically, you put someone on a pedestal.
Okay.
Like romantically, you know, and there's like gifts, you know, it's like full on.
So the narcissist is giving to...
The narcissist is doing that
to entice the other person.
Yeah. But then it gets to a point where you're knocked off your feet.
Yeah. Kind
of thing. You know, that person, because we've all got, you know, that kind of need for love and attention, and we've all got stuff from childhood, haven't we? And it's, you know, this like, wow, this person is so amazing. This is my knight in shining armour, or whatever the male equivalent of that is.
Yeah.
And so it is this just being knocked off, you know, you're just so overwhelmed with love.
Yeah.
sorry, the screen's gone a bit blank. You're just so overwhelmed with love that you stop losing your senses.
Yeah.
But then once that person has got you, once you're hooked,
then the true colours come out.
And then that's when there's more manipulation. That's when kind of you might be struck down a bit more.
Yeah.
Little controlling, feeding on your like your not enough-ness.
Yeah.
And your shame. But then because you've experienced that amazing state, it's like if I just do this, it'll come again.
Yeah.
And like, so you're constantly like, if I could just be like that. If I could just.
But you see, this is what I'm actually hearing from this, is that somehow in the initial romance period, there's a displacement of energy.
Yeah.
Because if the narcissist starts off with to say, this is a heart chakra void.
Yeah.
Narcissist meeting someone who's got a fairly stable heart chakra. I come in, I sweep you off your feet, I give you everything to drop your defenses. I then take the heart chakra. I now create the void in you, and you are now almost seeking to retrieve that moment of bliss, which is effectively your heart chakra
your
activated.
Own heart.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a kind of power displacement here. It's almost like a stealing. And let's just say there is a split of this narcissist and the victim. We won't say the empath at the moment, but the victim.
Or the other person.
Then the person with the void then goes out to try and find someone to displace that emptiness that's actually occurred. So I wonder if they, I think in a healthy energetic system, after the theft of the energy, it will heal with time. But I think with the narcissist, because the void is initially there, even though he or she has stolen, that when they move on, what's been taken is not going to fill them. So they will still have to go seek something different. They still have to go seek someone else.
Yeah, and often kind of they won't let go of that person.
Okay.
It is kind of like, that person has to do a lot of like healing, a lot of kind of clearing away.
So this is energetic healing.
Energetic, but also because there's that self-doubt that comes in, like you really, you so need your own truth.
Yeah. Like
you need that connection. You need to trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's been taken away. Kind of, especially, there's a thing called gaslighting, which I don't know, do you know about?
No. So
gaslighting is kind of basically outright lies.
Okay.
But designed to make you feel like you're going crazy. Okay. So it was based on a film. I think the film was called Gaslight, where it's like a husband and wife, and the husband kept changing the gas lights around the house, and the wife was like, "Oh, the lights have changed." He was like, "No, they haven't." And so, if it's just you in the house with that going on, it's very easy to start questioning, kind of like, is that happening?
Yeah.
And so,
So I guess the boundaries between reality and fantasy or illusion becomes very blurred.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'll have to look at the quality of Neptune, because that's the blurry archetype. Yeah, because I don't actually have any samples when it comes to narcissists.
They're probably unlikely to come for an astrological read, especially with you.
Well, I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to actually engage with someone, not as a finger pointing exercise, but purely to actually see what can be done, where the specific planets may actually sit in relation to that, which particular chakras are actually affected. And I think it's so easy to assume that there's a kind of rigidity of of states. So it's, this chakra is always going to be beautifully strong. And
Yeah.
But I think there's a kind of fluid flow of where the activity might be, and that changes even to the day.
Like, a question that's coming to me now is so do the planets then have an influence on, like, the state of the chakras? Or...
I mean, if you think in terms of astrology, I guess you would actually say that the planets would have, in their cycles, have a kind of impact on the energetic fields on the planet, on the Earth. And we as biological systems would then move in accordance to it. Simple things like, say, as an example, very fundamental and basic, is that as the sun goes over the Tropic of Cancer, we get summer.
Oh, okay.
Would you actually say the sun is sitting in Cancer, therefore everyone's lively and the sun's, nice and bright and everyone's feeling perky? Or would you just say, well, actually, it's just sunny outside and people are affected in that way? And I think it's so easy to assume that it is the sun in Cancer, therefore this. I think on a very simplistic level, it's just recognizing that it's really showing or reflecting the different cycles or different seasons that is enveloping the planet at any one point in time.
Oh, okay. So like an astrological reading then could kind of help you understand, like, what's happening.
Absolutely.
With the energy.
When I actually do an astrological reading, what I tend to do is I like to actually focus on the individual first, to actually see what the potential of that individual is, where they've come from, and where they are hoping to go. And then what you do is you actually use the transits, which is effectively where the planets are in relation to your chart, and also
at that point in time.
Okay. And also what we call progressions, where effectively you move the planet or the chart of your birth acts like a timer, so you can actually see when certain things are meant to actually occur, or certain parts of it, a particular, not occurrence, but when you're ready for specific rites of passage, I guess you would actually say. So at the age of 28, or around the age of 28, you tend to actually have a lunar progression, so it actually comes back to itself. So in a sense, you actually have a sense of coming home to your emotions, a kind of maturing of your emotions, getting to know what you...
Is that the Saturn return?
Exactly. Well, that's one part. The other part is at around the age of 28, you also have a Saturn return, which coincides with a period when you actually feel, what have I done with my life? Have I achieved my initial goals? What can I do to actually move forward? That sort of thing. So the moon is your emotional state of being, your emotional needs. Saturn is your responsibility. So around the age of 28, 27, 28, 29, people actually have this almost two parts to themselves, my emotional needs and my responsibilities. How can I marry the two of them where I actually feel like I'm actually more fulfilled? It's not the end point, because obviously we know that life continues after that, but I think it becomes the stepping stone to the next phase of your life as to how you want to progress as an adult.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's just, the different layers, different things that you can actually look at. And in the astrological chart, there's different houses that reflect different activities in your life, different focus, different arenas in your life. But the way I like to think of it is that the astrology just gives you an understanding of your potential, but you still have the free will. It's almost like recognizing what sort of ingredients you have in front of you, and allowing where I feel energy medicine, where I feel chakra work, and I think in terms of creative visualization and stuff, where you then say, right, I know I've got these ingredients. What can I do with them? Some people may say, well, based on those ingredients, this is what you should do with it. Whereas you may feel that you can actually do something different with it. And what I mean with this is that you may have the ingredients, say cocoa butter, cocoa powder, flour and sugar. Some person may say, well, actually, I'm going to make a chocolate cake. Whereas you may actually say, I want to do chocolate biscuits. Or another person may actually say, I don't want chocolate. I don't want to work with the chocolate right now. I want to make pancakes. So what I'm actually saying with regards to the astrology, it's delivering the different parts that you've got to hand, the different skills, the different traits, the different abilities, and sometimes maybe the challenges that you also have with you, but then working with it creatively to actually see what you can actually then take from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can see why that would be so interesting to see, like, someone who has got, you know, either psychopathic or narcissistic, try to say, what is it that what are their ingredients?
Exactly.
Yeah. What can they do?
Indeed, yeah. I think you will actually find that certain sun signs or, you know, particular signs may actually have the traits of the psychopathic or, you know, the narcissistic. But, you know, it's one of those things I think it'll be interesting to actually get some samples and actually do them,
Wow. Cool. No, I feel like I understand astrology more now as well.
That's good.
Which is, it sounds a lot more. It can be a bit kind of.
It's a bit full on, isn't it?
There's all these planets. There's all these houses. It's like
absolutely.
But that kind of these are your ingredients.
Exactly.
This is what you do with them.
Exactly.
That makes a lot more sense.
I think if you break them up into, you know, initially just the planets in the signs and then where they sit in the houses, you then get, and I think, me personally, I think it's always important to make it simple, to start simple. The fundamental, you know, the main characters, which should actually be like the sun and the moon. Where's your sun sign? What's your moon sign? Allow your creativity, and this is where I feel it's very important to allow the person who's actually getting the reading to have some say in how they want to play with the energy. Because if I said, you're a Capricorn with a Scorpio moon, or you're a power-hungry person, you know, you're going to go far in business. You're going to.
Should you do a practical example?
That's me.
Oh, is that you?
But you know, the thing is,
I'm Libra Sun and Cancer Moon.
Okay, so the Libra Sun says, I'm looking for balance. I'm constantly looking for a sense of harmony.
Yeah.
But the Cancer Moon says, I need to nurture.
Oh, okay.
So you would actually be a prime candidate for someone who walks into an environment, sees disarray or disharmony, but as opposed to taking the whip and say, right, everyone behave, you'd be like, what's your issue? Why are you actually not happy? What's your problem? Why are you not happy? What's your problem? Why are you not happy? And in a sense, for you, by looking at the various emotional needs of the individuals, your moon, you are hoping then to actually give voice to all of them and create harmony, which is your sun.
That sounds like what I do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So, you know, in a sense, it is, and even if you actually look at it as the different aspects of a personality, then the moon is actually saying, this aspect of me, what does that person need? Or what does this aspect of me need? And the other aspect, what is it that you need? And the other aspect, what is it that you need? It is more important for you, effectively, with the Cancerian moon, is to actually recognize the emotional need and content of the different aspects. Once you've actually
so when you say aspects, what do you...
the archetypes. So let's just say, so if you said, give me a few... If I said to you, name me, if you were to be remembered as an individual, okay, what would you define Jackie as? Let it come out, just snap.
Peacemaker.
Okay, peacemaker.
Like motherly.
Motherly, what else?
Harmony. Changemaker.
Changemaker, okay. Okay. Anything else?
Gentle.
But what you've actually what you've actually stated there, Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Harmony, Libra.
Oh, yeah.
Motherly, Cancer, Moon. So what you've already identified, in a sense, you've already played with and have actually begun to identify with your moon and your sun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what you'll find is that most people, when they come to reading, you are really just affirming what they are naturally. There is never, obviously there are some aha moments where you think, oh, I never thought of it that way, I've never seen or looked at it that way.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, but it's always great when someone kind of tells you what you already know.
Exactly, or affirm, to reaffirm that aspect. And it actually validates a reason behind your activity. You know, a mode of activity or mode of action or mode of practice. For you, it is really, even in the clients that you actually have, you'll find great success, a greater success, if you actually acknowledge first the emotional need of that which is presenting itself to you. Okay, and I don't mean just of that, because I almost feel that because we're dealing with Libra suns, of all those that are actually presenting themselves to you. So first, start a list of the different aspects that are presenting themselves to you. Okay, and then asking what is the emotional need of each of those aspects.
Okay.
And then allowing the creative sun in Libra to find a way that compromises and gives voice, a synthesis of the various emotional needs.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Yes, that does completely fit with my pieces to piece framework.
Exactly.
Like bringing equality to all the different parts of ourselves.
Again, you're dealing with Libra. Equality, yes. Relationships, you know. So, you know, outside of the therapy work, you may find yourself as a kind of, you could actually play relationship counselor, or even you could run a business, like a catering business or restaurant, where people can get together and share. Because there you've got the moon in Cancer. Like
my networking group.
Exactly.
Here we go!
Exactly. So you've been playing with the different nuances of the same energy. And this is the same. It's different people. If you start with the sun and the moon, you'll find that they're playing with it already in different ways, but that's their style.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, the sun one is pretty easy for people to figure out.
Yeah,
how do you find your moon?
Well, there's various sites that you can actually go to.
Oh, you can go on a site?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you can buy an ephemeris. But, if you go to a site like astro.com, astro.com, but you do go to astro.com, type in your details. It's very simple. It's free. And you then get your sun, your moon, and your other planets. But I would always say start simple. Yeah. Don't try and chew on the whole thing. Start with a simple thing. Yeah. Understand your sun. Because the sun is your vitality, it's your essence. And again, I guess one could argue, if you believe in reincarnation or you keep coming back, this is purely an essence at this point in time.
Right.
And the way I look at it is the moon is your fundamental style.
Okay.
The sun is what you're effectively attempting to emulate. Most people actually think I'm my Libra sun or I'm my Capricorn. But what I see is that the moon is your natural instinctual practice, whereas the sun is what you are hoping to make real in your world. You are hoping to make harmony in your world. So in effect, it would actually say that you are coming from a place of not disharmony, but where you are sensitive to disharmony. Yeah. And therefore, as a sun in Libra, you are attempting to harmonize. And how do you harmonize? With your moon in Cancer. So you look at your moon in Cancer. How do you do that? You nurture, you care, you listen, you support. You become the sacred womb, the sacred mother, that sort of thing. But
cool.
Facilitate, yes.
How do people get in touch with you? 'Cause
right. You could get in touch with me through my website, Rainbow Path to Wholeness. But yeah, that's the easiest way, really.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or look me up on Facebook.
Yeah. Because I feel like I understand so much more now. So we went off in a different
tangent. Absolutely.
Different tangent, yes. But that was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to deal with chakras.
And we didn't at all.
No, we didn't. We did everything. Well, we did a bit of chakras, but not so much.
No, but I like that because I think that's kind of getting it down to that simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, what's the interaction between those two?
Yeah.
Let's start there, and then we can move on to
build on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.